OdeeLoccSportsInfo here, back with another vid for you guys. Yeah, y'all, hit that subscribe, like, bell icon so y'all can be notified of this reel because y'all know OdeeLoc keeps it real. Yeah, you guys, so for the last couple of years, right? For the last couple of years, the PBC fanboys, right? The Earl Spence Brigade, the Earl Sexuals, right? They've been saying that Terrence Bud Crawford is on the wrong side of the street. Oh, he needs to sign to the PBC. Oh, he needs to do this. He needs to fight this person. He needs to do that. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Right? But you guys see the title. Jermall Charlo versus Jaime Munguia is scheduled for June 18th, 2022. Right? And the last time I checked, Jaime was not on the PBC. Right? Jaime isn't a PBC fighter. As a matter of fact, Jaime is signed to Oscar De La Hoya. Right? The same Oscar De La Hoya who sued Al Haymon, right? So make this shit make sense. Make it make sense. Right? See, the cat is out of the bag now. It's out of the bag. It was no such thing as size of the street. It was no such things of any of this stuff. Right? It just was a deflection tactic. It was a deflection tactic put on by Earl Spence Jr. Right? And his fan base, they just ran with it, right? Because they don't really want to see the fight. Because deep down, these people, they can see the skill level in Terrence Bud Crawford, right? And they can see, the flat-footedness of Earl Spence Jr. And they can see it. They know what will probably happen if they fight, right? This is why they've been putting up these walls. Why? Because it's not making no sense. Y'all been putting up all these, roadblocks after roadblock after roadblock, saying that Terrence Bud Crawford has, right? He got to leave Bob Arum, right, to get a fight with, with Earl Spence Jr. He's on the wrong side of the street. He's on the wrong side of the street. I'm not going to ESPN. We don't do, business with Top Rank. Shit, you ask Fury and Wilder. Right? Ask Fury and Wilder. Do they do business or not? Yeah, y'all. So, the PBC is exposed. Earl Spence Jr. is exposed. Right? Because everything in the dark eventually comes to the light. And I've been telling people this for the longest. Everything in the dark eventually going to come to the light. And now it's starting to come to the light. Right? Blair Cobbs, he done went off on Earl Spence Jr., calling him a coward. He messing up boxing. Right? It got people who used to support Earl Spence Jr., they going in on him. I heard he can't even go to his own barbershop anymore. Right? Because people is on his neck asking him why he's not fighting Terrence Bud Crawford. Right? So that whole side of the street narrative is done. Right? And let's prove it. Let's prove who Jaime Munguia is connected to, right? Because they've been telling Bud this whole time, you on the wrong side of the street. You on the wrong side of the street. But Jaime is signed to Golden Boy. Now let's share this. Jaime is a Golden Boy fighter. Jaime Munguia, Golden Boy Promotions. Who is Jaime Munguia Promotion? Triple G is someone Munguia promoter at Golden Boy. Oscar De La Hoya has his eyes on, along with WBO titleist Demetrius Andrade. So all that side of the street shit that Errol Spence Jr. been using for 2, 3, 4 years is bullshit. Because Oscar De La Hoya sued Al Haymon. And as you guys can see, they doing business together. And as you guys can see, they are doing business together. So all that narrative, putting up roadblock at the roadblock at the roadblock, is bullshit. Errol Spence has been exposed. He has been exposed. Everything in the dark eventually comes to the light. It eventually comes. And everything has hit the light now. Right? You can't say, oh no, we don't do work with Top Rank. Ask Fury and Wilder. Do they work with Top? Yes, they work together. And obviously, Oscar De La Hoya and Al Haymon, they work together too. Right? So all that side of the street shit is bullshit. And this should let people know that Al Haymon has some kind of weird ass grudge against Terrence Bud Crawford too. Al Haymon has some kind of little weird shit going on with him, right? He hold these black fighters. It's like, you have to sign to me, right? You have to give me 3, 4 fights, right? To get the fight that you really want. You have to sign to me. Jaime Munguia, he gonna have to sign to your ass. Tyson Fury didn't have to sign to you. But you want Bud to sign to your ass. Why? You're not confident, that none of your 147-pounder fighters can beat him? You're not confident? It's obvious that you're not confident. Come on, y'all. The writing is on the wall now. It's on the wall. Errol Spence Jr. used that shit as a roadblock. And the Earl sexuals and these pro PBC channels, they ran with that bullshit. Oh, look, they don't do work with Top Rank. They don't do this. They don't do that. Stop lying. And now it's all being exposed. Errol Spence Jr. is a liar. Errol Spence Jr. is a bullshitter. That's what he is. And whoever holding pom-poms for him at this time, at this point, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be really ashamed of yourself. You should look at yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, am I really supporting a coward? Am I really supporting a guy who don't want no smoke with a littler guy who came up to his weight division and challenged him? And a bigger fighter turn it down? I want y'all to think about that. Terrence Crawford came from 135 all the way up to 147. And the bigger fighter who came from 154 down don't want to fight. Then he's using, roadblocks. Oh, no, we don't work with Top Rank. Well, it's obvious that Oscar De La Hoya worked with Al Haymon. And Oscar De La Hoya sued Al Haymon. It's obvious that Top Rank and, the PBC, they work together with Tyson Fury and Wilder. So knock that shit off. Stop with the bullshit. Earl Spence Jr. lied. His fan base been lying. Right? And for Al Heyman to be this, this black promoter, he sure is treating Terrence Crawford like a piece of trash. He sure is treating another black man like a piece of fucking trash. But, the PBC fanboys, they love that bullshit. See, I'm different. I expect, not to get on racist stuff, but I expect white people to do what they do. I expect them to do what they do. Right? I expect them to do what they do, white people. But when it comes down to black people, I expect them to, to be some kind of understanding, and sit down and talk and have, and work some shit out with each other. But as far as Al Heyman been shitting on Terrence Bud Crawford for fucking years. Al Heyman been giving fucking Earl Spence Jr. these fucking talking points. Al Heyman been giving him these talking points. That's why, right? Like when he asked him, do Al got me on the list? Oh, no, he don't got you on the list. Why? Why? Now that he's not signed with Top Rank, here we go again. Then people, they want to say, oh, no, man, it's size of the streets. It ain't no fucking size of the streets. Look at Jermall Charlo about to fight Jaime Munguia. It ain't no fucking size of the street. It never was no size of the street. That shit was all a fucking illusion. It was a magic trick. It was a fucking illusion. And people fell for this shit. Oh, man, he needs to get away from Bob, huh? Bob is paying him the most motherfucking money. Bob is paying him the most motherfucking money. Al Heyman ain't gonna give him that. Oscar De La Hoya ain't gonna give him that. Frank Warren ain't gonna give him that. Shout out to Michael Buffer. But why didn't the PBC get Andre Day instead? Why? Because they know. See, now this is what it is, Michael. Bro, they will make fights with other promotional companies when they feel like their fighter can win the fight. That's what this shit is all about, right? They thought Deontay Wilder, just think about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Fury was fresh off the couch. They thought that Deontay Wilder was going to go in there and knock him out. He almost did, right? Deontay Wilder almost succeeded against Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury won the fight, right? He won 10 out of 12 fucking rounds. Right. And if you want to say that he got knocked down, 2 rounds, okay, so that make it 4 rounds. So it was still 8-4. It was still 8-4. Right? If it wasn't 10-2, it was 8-4. Wilder got his ass whooped. Simple as that. Simple as that. Right? Now you fast forward. Now, Jaime Munguia is signed to Oscar De La Hoya. Remember, Oscar De La Hoya sued the PBC. He sued the PBC. Now they working together? Oh, but I thought it was size of the street, Earl. I thought it was size of the street. No, it ain't no size of the street, bro. What it is, Michael, they do this. They do, they put on fights that they feel like that they fighter can win. Like they feel like that Jermall Charlo, he can beat Jaime, but Jaime fuck around and whoop his ass and get that belt. Right? Right, because every time they go outside the PBC, what happened to these motherfuckers? Every time they go outside the PBC, they fucking get their ass whooped. They get their ass whooped. They lose. They get their ass whooped. This is a fact. Anytime they go offer their promotional company and start fighting other fighters on other promotional companies, they get their ass whooped. Come on. Right? Because they're not prepared. They haven't been fighting no good competition. Right? and they underprepared. So when they get in here with, with other fighters who got more experience, who've been going through the trenches, who've been really fighting people outside their promotional company, they gonna get their ass whooped. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jaime whoop his ass. I would not be surprised if Jaime beat Jermall Charlo. Right? I will not be surprised. But all that side of the street shit is out of question. The reason they don't pick Boo Boo Andrade is because they know that Jermall Charlo will get his ass knocked out. They already know. Jermall is not ready and will never be ready for Boo Boo. Never. He doesn't fight enough. He doesn't have enough skills. Yes, he has power. Right? But he can't even, man, we seen how Sergey Divrachenko did him. Right? He lost that fight. Right? He lost the fight against Sergey. That's true, like Charles Martin Porter Wilder on ESPN. Exactly. Come on. Man, but Charles Martin went way to the UK to go and fight AJ. He went way to the UK to fight Anthony Joshua. Right? And he was signed to the PBC. Right? But what did the PBC thought? They thought that Charles Martin was going to go in there and beat Anthony Joshua. And he got his ass whooped in 2 rounds. It wasn't even a fucking contest. 2 rounds, he got his ass whooped. Think about that. Come on, so this is just a PBC forte. If they feel like that the fighter can, the fighter has a good chance of winning, they'll make the fight. This is how you know they don't feel like Errol Spence Jr. can beat Terrence Bud fucking Crawford. They're not confident in Earl. They never was confident in Earl. Earl has a Mexican style. Oh my God, man. Like if people really look at Errol Spence Jr. style, he has a Mexican style of boxing. Right? Try to stay behind the jab and work the body. Try to stay behind the jab, put pressure on the fighter, and try to work the body. Come on. That's his style. That's his style. Basic up and down style. It ain't no special effects. It's nothing, spectacular about Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is textbook. Yes, yes, he's relentless though. Don't get that twisted. Yes, he's relentless. That's the thing what breaks down these fighters, because he's relentless. He comes and he just steadily on you. He's not giving you time to breathe. You feel what I'm saying? But come on, you guys. Earl is, man, but at this point, y'all, this shit is just sad. They ain't gonna pick Boo Boo. They trying to go after Triple G, right? Because Triple G old. Right? This is why he want Triple G now, because Triple G old. Come on. This shit is all a game. And Errol Spence Jr. has been exposed. He has been exposed. Right? Then I had said something about Jermall Charlo the other day. We all know he used the water bottle. Right? But he's so worried about Brian Castano. Shout out to Punch Code. But very similar to a younger version of Triple G pressure with punch placement. Exactly. A good jab, a great jab, because Triple G got a good jab. A good jab, and and pressure, and just relentless pressure. And that breaks down, some people who not mentally ready in the fight. Right? Because they used to getting breaks. They used to, they can get up out of there, dance around the ring a little bit. But Errol Spence Jr., no, he just steps, step, and he just keeps the pressure on you. And that, that mentally fucks with a lot of boxers. That's all it is. Right? And he has great fundamentals. But other than that, Errol Spence Jr. is not, he's not special to me. Especially especially what I seen Sean Porter do to him, spin him around like a spinning top. I said, damn, Sean Porter can spin you around like a spinning top? Sean Porter, the football player. The guy who can't sell out a backyard barbecue. The guy who you said you was going to knock out. That same Sean Porter spent you around like a spinning top. Had you fighting his fight. You wasn't fighting your fight. You was fighting his fight. You was fighting Sean Porter fight. Come on. And we already knew you was going to get the benefit of the doubt. Man, like I got to go back to my video when I had predicted that Sean Porter was going to lose. I predicted that Sean Porter was going to lose too. It didn't matter if the shit would have went 12 rounds, even if it wasn't a knockdown, you guys. Y'all already seen the scorecards, even if it wasn't a knockdown. Errol Spence Jr. was going to win the fight because he has Texas. Don't y'all get it? He has Texas. Just like with shit with Udanis Ugas. Ugas is going to fucking lose. But Spence knows he tries that with Crawford. What is going to come back? But yeah, exactly. Though he know he can't go. He know he can't do that stupid body stuff with Crawford. Crawford is going to clock him. Crawford going to counter. Crawford going to counter his jab. Going to make him stop throwing the jab. Yes, Crawford is going to counter that jab and make him stop throwing that jab. And then what is Errol Spence without his fucking jab? I'll wait. What is Errol Spence without his jab? Nothing. Everything comes off of Errol Spence Jr. jab. That's why Sean Porter gave him such a tough fight, because Errol Spence Jr. stopped throwing his jab in the third round. Because Sean Porter was countering him. The football player. Yeah, the dirty fighter who headbutt people. Yeah, that same Sean Porter was countering the fuck out of Errol Spence Jr. And what did Errol Spence Jr. have to do? He had to resort to dirty tactics and start hitting this man in the nuts. Facts. Had to resort to dirty tactics just to even make the fight competitive with Sean Porter. Try to place shots to the body with his head up, which will he try to catch punches with his gloves, pretty straightforward style. Exactly. No, he has a Mexican style. He has a Hispanic style. Errol Spence Jr., he's just a black guy with a Hispanic style. That's all it is. Right now, but what do Triple G say? Mexican style, right? That's what Errol Spence Jr. is. Mexican style. He's just black. That's it. That's it. That's all. And shout out to 913 Boxing. Crawford is a way bigger puncher than he gets credit for, and Spence gets more credit for punching than he deserves. Exactly. Like you got to really think about that too. He came from 154 down. That's why everybody was calling Errol Spence Jr. the weight bully, because he came from a higher weight class down, so he can try to bully, the 147 guys. Right? And he really started coming down after Larte clipped his ass and had his ass on skates for a round and a half. Yes, go back and look at the Larte fight. Errol Spence versus... Man, and Errol Spence Jr. was on skates in survival mode. And this is a fact. Right, man? Damn, airplanes going overhead. Yeah, no, but he was a prime fighter. And how good Gamboa was, they still using his fucking name right now. Why? Why? Because he's going to be the co-main event for Udanis Ugas and Errol Spence Jr. Make that shit make sense. Him and Isaac Cruz is the co-main event for Udanis Ugas and Errol Spence Jr. Yeah, the same Gamboa that everybody said he was washed, he was trash. Crawford beat a little guy, a guy that's like this, a guy that's like that. So why is all these PBC fighters using his name now? Tank Davis, shit no, but even Devin Haney using Tank, Devin, now Isaac. Come on, man. Anything to discredit Crawford, the best thing we have in America. Anything to discredit this man, right? This is why I keep on telling y'all, Errol Spence Jr. is going to win this fight against Udanis Ugas. It has too much money in Texas. What are they going to gain, right? What are they going to gain from Udanis Ugas winning? Always. What is Al Heyman and the PBC going to gain from Udanis Ugas winning? Nothing, nothing, nothing. So the writing is on the wall. All Errol Spence Jr. has to do is survive 12 rounds. That's all he got to do. And he's going to win the fight. Y'all think, like Udanis Ugas has to, for real, y'all. Udanis Ugas have to go in there and beat the fuck out of Errol Spence Jr. Knock him down multiple times to win this fight. And I don't see Udanis Ugas knocking down Errol Spence Jr., so he's going to lose. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there, I'm just putting it out there before it happened. And then y'all going to come back and be like, damn, oh, man, oh, shit, like Udanis Ugas got robbed. No, he didn't. This was part of the plan. This is part of the plan that Al Heyman been running this shit for years. He been doing the same shit for years. But after Ugas, does Spence fight Crawford or Thurman? Spence is going to fight Stantionis. Right? Spence is they're going to get Spence up out of that some way, somehow. Right? Or he probably fight Keith Thurman. Right? He probably fight Keith Thurman. But me, I'm just trying to figure, okay, if he moving up to 154, then he's going to have to vacate all those belts, right? And the PBC don't want those belts to leave the PBC. They don't want none of those belts to leave the PBC, period. Right? So I'm thinking that they're gonna, position Stantionis and Butev to shout out Dion Reed. Yeah, man, that they're gonna position Butev and Stantionis in the WBA. Keith Thurman, he's already positioned in the WBC, right? They got to get somebody to position to fight Boots Ennis to try to get Boots out the way, right? So they can get that eye. So they got to get somebody in that IBF spot, right? Because they already got people positioned in the WBA and WBC. They already got people positioned. Now they need somebody positioned in that IBF spot, right? Now he's taking on a final eliminator, Boots Ennis, but we don't know what's going to happen after that, right? Shit, the IBF probably make him take on another eliminator. Don't act like that shit ain't never happened. Don't act like that it has never happened, right? Then they'll come back and say, no, we never said that first IBF, fight was a final eliminator, right? No, we never said that it was a final eliminator. No, this one is a final eliminator. This one is, right? That's just to stall him out. I'm telling y'all, man, it's like the PBC, they don't want to let go of those 3 belts. And they're going to find a way to keep those fucking 3 belts at the PBC. Top of the AM, brother. They're going to find a way to keep those belts at the PBC. Mark my words. Mark my words. Al Heyman game plan is just, it just been laid out. They should just make a PBC belt and just do they round robin amongst themselves, right? Why don't y'all just make y'all own belt and do y'all own thing, man? Because y'all holding up the fucking division. Y'all holding up boxing. Doing this round robin and y'all, y'all circling back to fight each other, circling back to fight. It's like, bro, we tired of seeing that shit. We want to see some real competition and y'all really get it in with, with other boxers, bro. That's off the PBC. But yeah, don't be surprised if Jermall Charlo get his ass whooped by Jaime. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked, you guys. Please don't be shocked. Just know that PBC fighters, once they leave the PBC and they fight somebody else in a different stable, 8 times out of 10, they're going to fucking get their ass whooped. Right? It's a 50-50 chance, rather. Let's just say that. It's a 50-50 chance that they're going to get their ass whooped. I mean, for real. Oh, okay. But Benavidez wanted over $7 million. Andrade now is fighting Sweet Cheeks. Funny how Andrade isn't a threat. Come on, man. Like, these guys are laughable, punch quote. Boxers need a unit and simplify and take power away from the promoters. Yeah, bro. Like, they just need a commission. Man, they just need somebody to regulate this shit, man, and stop letting these promoters and these sanctioning bodies get away with, any fucking thing. You shouldn't be able to grease a promoter. You shouldn't be able to grease a sanctioning body pockets, to get a better spot, to get a better ranking spot. You shouldn't be able to do that shit. You should fight and get your rightful position. Right, and get your right position. Like Keith Thurman, he's coming off a 2.5, year layoff, almost 3 years, come back, and he's right back at the top of the WBC. How? How? Because you beat because you beat Barrios, who came from 140, and he wasn't even in the WBC? How? They did that. Al Heyman did that because he wanted to position Keith Thurman to get that WBC belt, just in case Earl Spence Jr. vacate and move up to 154, even though I doubt that. Right? Like, even though I kind of doubt it now, right? Because Jermall, he talking about that he ain't going to move up. Jermall, he don't want to move up. Right? Boxing less division and only 2 straps per weight class. Dana White and Vince McMahon should take over. They still connect and make fights more. Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, it got too many belts. It got too many, trinket belts, just floating around. Too many bubblegum machine belts, out here. I think it should be 2 belts in each class. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It should be an intern belt and it should be the super champion. I do accept intern belts. You feel what I'm saying? Because something can happen to the super champion and he can just step right in that position. Right? But all these, the gold, the silver, the bronze, the what? Huh? The franchise. Man, get that shit out of here. Don't nobody want that shit. That shit is come on, y'all. Yeah, man, but they don't want to fight Boo Boo, Jermall Charlo. It's like, bro. Y'all, I looked at that video back, and Jermall Charlo was drunk. Jermall Charlo was drunk. Live on camera, drunk. That's why when he got asked about Terrence Crawford, he went into his little rant. Right? Because he already know the little issues him and Terrence Crawford got back and forth. He went into a little girly rant. Oh, man, no, he need to do this. He need to listen to Earl. He need to listen to Earl. What, the more accomplished motherfucker need to listen to the dude who less accomplished? Hell no. So the dude who making more money need to listen to the dude who making less money. Where the fuck does that work at? Where do they do that at? Where do they do this shit at? Man, the PBC is full of shit. And Al Heyman is disgusting. And I don't like his motherfucking ass. Yeah, I said it. I don't like Al Heyman. And I don't even see him, but I see the fucking moves he making. And how he like to do all this bullshit to black fighters. Black fighters. Shit, I heard that Jaime Munguia, that he negotiated his contract with the PBC, so they gave him what the fuck he wanted. But Terrence Crawford can't get what he want? An undisputed 2-time lineal 3-division champion can't get what the fuck he want? No. OdeeLock, you're right. Was fighting 4 times a year in 2014, 2015. Now promoters, he fought twice in the last 24 months. Exactly, bro. They trying to get him rusty. They want to do a lot to Bud, man. They want to do a lot to Bud, bro. A lot to Bud, man. And I don't understand. I don't understand why they really want to get this man beat. They hate that he's the best thing that we got in America. They really hate that Terrence Bud Crawford is the best thing we got in America. Just imagine if Terrence Bud Crawford was from fucking Texas. How big would he fucking be then? And if he ain't the best thing that we got in America, name somebody else other than Canelo. And Canelo is not American. He's from Mexico. I'm talking about a black American fighter who's more accomplished than Terrence Bud Crawford fighting right now. Name the person. You can't name the fucking person because it ain't one. The most accomplished fighter that we got in America, and they got all these Americans, right? They come, oh man, he ain't did nothing. No, he ain't did nothing. Oh, he ain't did this. He ain't did that. He did more than your favorite fucking fighter. Facts. He did more than your favorite fighter. Oh man, now he not selling no pay-per-views, but he getting guaranteed more money than your favorite fighter. Then when I tried to explain that to people, oh no, man. Man, I said, bro, what would you rather get? Guaranteed money or a hope and a prayer that your pay-per-view do fucking big numbers? What, man, but which one would you rather do? Give me my shit up front. I don't want to be playing these weird games, you know, with the boxing fans, because boxing fans stream shit now. Right? If they feel like that they not going to pay for that, they not going to pay for the fight. They going to stream and shit. So I'm not going to be playing these games. You feel what I'm saying? Give me my shit up front. And that's how it should be. And whatever else y'all make on the back end, if it do blow up, right, the pay-per-view, I want some more fucking money. Come on. That's how it's supposed to be. That's Terrence Crawford moving, right? Terrence Crawford didn't get no stipends, no allowance, right? He didn't get none of that shit. Come on. Getting paid. And that's why I was, man, like when he did the lawsuit against Bob Arum, hey, I can understand. Yes, Bob, you owed him some money for a fight. No, for 2 fights. I think he owed him money for 2 fights. You owe him money for 2 fights, and you promised him $900,000. Get that man his money. $4.4 million a piece, so that's 8 plus that $900,000. Get that man $9 million, right? $10 million for pain and suffering. Get that man his $10 million, Bob. We know that you didn't. I know you didn't want Terrence Bud Crawford to leave you, man. I know you didn't. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Now we about to get this on the 18th, on June 18th. But I just made this video, right? Because Earl Spence Jr. was talking about the size of the street. sides of the street. But let me share this again. Because Jaime Munguia, last time I checked, he's on Golden Boy. So that whole side of the street narrative is out the window. Who is Jaime Munguia promoter? Triple G is someone Munguia promoter at Golden Boy. Oscar De La Hoya has his eyes on, along with WBO titleist Demetrius Andrade. Right? We already know he ain't gonna fight Andrade. They all going after Triple G. Right? Now, since they can't get the Canelo fight, these guys are going after Triple G. Right? Well, I'm like, the problem with all this, Crawford don't even have a fight. Does anyone know if he has a fight schedule? No, bro. He don't have no fight schedule. Nothing scheduled, bro. Nothing. You see that Keith Thurman, he running. He gone. Right? Talking all that shit. He's gone. Earl Spence Jr. ain't gonna fight him next. This is all about freezing this man out. They trying. Al Heyman is a punk motherfucker. He want this man to sign to him. What I think, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Terrence Bud Crawford go back to Bob Arum after suing his ass. I wouldn't be surprised, y'all, because at this point, Crawford know he fucked up. Right now, he can bet on himself all he want. Yes, he can bet on himself all he want. But you're not as popular as Floyd Mayweather. You got serious hate out here, bro. It got boxing. It got people who hate you, Crawford. Who literally hate your guts, bro. You see what Al Heyman is doing? He don't want to give you no fights over there unless you sign with him 3-4 fight deal. And we already seen how that played out with Pacquiao. They fucked over Pacquiao. Come on. Pacquiao signed back to the PBC because he thought he was going to get another Floyd Mayweather fight. They threw the Floyd Mayweather rematch in his face, and he signed to the PBC for a 3-fight deal. And how long did it take for Pacquiao to fight those 3 fights? How long did it take for Pacquiao to fight 3 fights with the PBC? Well, but what happens if Charlo gets KO'd? He loses Canelo bag. Exactly. And at this point, y'all, see, I don't like to prey on the downfall and stuff like that, but the boxing guys are going to talk. The boxing guys are going to speak on this shit, right? Because y'all been bullshitting you, sitting around, hanging around, waiting around for a fucking handout from Canelo instead of making your own fucking legacy. Y'all sitting around waiting like little fucking but what do they call them? But little birds in a fucking bird nest waiting to be fed by Canelo, waiting till he regurgitate a worm and feed your dumb ass. But Eddie and the Zone can't get him fights. Sadie out here in court got in top rank in the ring. It is what it is. Yeah, bro. Like, it's Bud better not sign shit. Fuck around and get beat. Exactly, bro. That's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna do him like Manny Pacquiao. How you think, bro? Listen. But Manny Pacquiao, man, like they knew that was Manny Pacquiao last fight, right? They knew it was Manny Pacquiao last fight, right? His last fight. They knew it was his last fight, right? Who had the super belt? Manny Pacquiao or Ugas? Huh? Who had the big belt? Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, right? And what was the PBC doing? Right? Like the PBC. Oh no, what was the PBC doing? The PBC, they was going to put him in a unification against Earl Spence Jr., right? And that would have been for what? For 3 belts, right? But they're not that confident in Earl Spence Jr. So what they do? They pulled the old switcheroo. They pulled the old switcheroo. Manny Pacquiao is training for a southpaw. Manny Pacquiao is sparring southpaws, training for a southpaw. Right? Up until when? 2 weeks before the fight? A week and a half before the fight? And then what happens? Errol Spence Jr. mysteriously get an eye injury. Oh, my eye. I can't see my eye. I can't see my eye. Right? And what happens? They throw in an orthodox fighter. Woo-wee. An orthodox fighter who has great counter-punching ability. Y'all don't think that was a setup? Y'all don't think that Floyd Mayweather and Al Haymon, that they sat back and they fucked over Manny Pacquiao? Y'all don't think that happened? Man, y'all better... They fucked over Pacquiao. Fucked him over. His last fight with us, we need that WBA belt. We need that belt. Period. Because if he vacate that belt, the belt goes in the air. And we cannot have that. We're not having that shit. So we need that belt. And that's exactly what they did. They got the belt. Fucked over Manny Pacquiao and his, his money, all that shit. Right? Because he wanted 40. 40. But that's what you get, Pacquiao. Right? Because you could have just took the 20 against Terrence Crawford, right? And you would have went out, right? You would have got $20 million, but you didn't even make that versus Errol Spence Jr. Versus Udanis Ugas. You didn't even make that, bro. You got fucked over. You got played. And that's because you was trying to play somebody. See, when you try to play people, you get played. You wanted 20 till you heard it was 50 million in the pot. Oh, now I want 40. I want $40 million to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. 40. Huh? Damn shit. I don't know. Who the hell, man? Keep on calling me. Yeah, you guys, but let me read these last two. But Bivol has the pressure on him over Russia clauses behind the doors. Hand over the belt and get the check. These dudes beat Joe Smith Pereira, huge guys, but will get walked down around Canelo. Man, Canelo, hey, bro, like you already know how I feel about Canelo, Punch Quote. I don't care what nobody say. I can't believe that eye injury. Exactly, bro. Why? Because as soon as the fight, think about that. As soon as Ugas won, he come on out. Right, a couple days later, oh yeah, man, but now you got something I want. Huh? Earl, your eye injury is better? Oh yeah. Damn. Damn, bro. Did you ever have an eye injury? No, you didn't have no eye injury. You got the word from Al Haymon. Al Haymon probably paid him some money, just to step aside, Probably paid him some money, just to get him out the way. Hey, bro, like we need that belt. So this is the plan. We're gonna replace you with Ugas so Ugas can get that belt. Right? Right, because if you go into this fight and you beat Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Bud Crawford is nowhere for you to fucking go. Terrence Bud Crawford is right there. You have to call him out. It's nowhere for you to go, Earl. It's nowhere. After you win the third belt, you have to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. If you don't fight Terrence Bud Crawford, you a bitch-ass motherfucker. Come on, this is how it played out. Come on. Man, so they killed two birds with one stone. I want y'all to think about that. They killed two birds with one stone with that fight. Killed two birds with one stone. Right? We can get the pressure off of us with Crawford because we won't have the third belt. Right? Also, we can fuck over Manny Pacquiao by replacing Errol Spence Jr. with Ugas at the last minute. At the last minute. Think about that. Last minute. He gets replaced and gets it's like, bro, it's always something though, y'all. It's always something. But let me just say this, Jermall Charlo. Man, but all you talking about is, Castano, he probably be on PEDs. Castano on PEDs. Bro, you don't want me to show the water bottle. And according to, the rules, you supposed to have a clear water bottle. So why was your ass, about this 5th, 6th round drinking from a Gatorade bottle that couldn't be seen through? Because you cheated, Tony Harrison. Right? It's just like the Panama Lewis case. And I don't want people to say, oh, man, like the Panama Lewis. No, he never got caught either. I want y'all to think about that. The dude at Panama Lewis, he never got caught either. They just heard him on camera saying, give me the bottle I mixed. Not the regular water. Give me the water I mixed. Why do you need to mix water? It's water. You shouldn't have to mix water. It's water. Right? But come on, y'all. Come on, man. It is what it is, y'all. But I'm getting blew up, y'all. So let me get on off this internet. Man, like shout out to everybody who showed up in the chat, man. I really appreciate you guys, man. It was kind of litty this morning, man. I appreciate y'all, man, for sure. But subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video. This OdeeLoccSportsInfo. I'm gone.